How many rooms at Buckingham Palace?
I don't know, 72.
I'll say 22.
240. That's a lot of bedrooms.
Yeah, there's got to be a lot of bathrooms there. Maybe 20 bathrooms or something crazy.
So I'm going to go with 280 bathrooms.
Close 78.
Oh my God. So bad.
Well, those Brits, Boatman and DeWolf, know that 2 years ago the palace was valued at almost £1 billion. First prize here, £830,000. That'll buy one of the 1,600 rooms at the royal home, plus a closet.
And if he were ever invited to the Buckingham Palace, I think Mike the Mouth would be staying in a closet.
14 players remain. The blinds at 6 and 12,000. Ronald Lee, the chip leader right now, with almost $2 million, will not play this hand. Fold it around to Danny Steinberg with ace-10 on the button.
I was surprised to find out there's no official dress code at Buckingham Palace, but you really shouldn't show up there dressed like a poker player.
Steinberg putting some chips together, and he raises it up to 27,000 on the button. Over to Brian Powell in the small blind. And speaking of Buckingham Palace, he's got 2 queens.
Ooh, very nice.
Come on.
And the short stack re-raises all in for 146,000.
146, coincidentally, the number of debutantes currently in Buckingham Palace's ballroom.
141.
So back to Steinberg now, who needs 119,000 more to make the call.
Steinberg not getting quite the right price to call, but I can't see him laying this down. It's for about 20% of his stack. Powell could be pushing with a small pocket pair.
Danny, not the fastest player to act at a poker table, and this is a critical decision for him here. There's his twin brother, Max.
Looks a lot like Danny.
Yeah, how do we know this is Danny at the table? Steinberg, holding Powell's fate in his hands, makes the call. Powell ahead with the queens.
200s?
Can't imagine folding that.
No, you can't fold there. I was assuming you had 8-9.
Dream on, Brian.
Good luck, Brian.
Thanks.
Well, 2 healthy heads of hair to the flop.
All right, here we go. It is Deuce, Jack, 5. Powell still best with his pocket queens.
King.
And Powell in very good shape to double up.
Turn card now is another deuce. Powell 1 card from a double up.
Come on, Andrew.
What would happen? One
Next to Mike Steinberg is poker pro Andrew Roble. He called that deuce.
Only an ace knocks out Powell.
The river card is a 9, and Powell will survive. And he doubles up to 318,000, well below the chip average of 741,000.
That was a friendly double-up, Lon. All all-ins should be that congenial.
All right, let's take a look at the chip count of the featured table players. Lee and Fleischman in control. Powell no longer the short stack. Upstairs, Britt James Board has the biggest stack of those 7 players with almost 1.6 million. Action back at this featured table on Danny Steinberg. Jack 7 won't play. Powell, 7 deuce. No thanks. Fold it over to Nicholas Levi, writes poker strategy articles and makes poker training videos. Ace queen.
Personally, Lana, I prefer the classic Johnny Depp black fedora hat, but teach his own.
Levi with a raise to 29,000. Ronald Lee with 9-8 of hearts and almost 2 million chips to play with on the button.
I like Ronald Lee, but he takes a lot of time before he acts, and I'm pretty much getting toward the end of my life.
Ronald Lee finally does make the call. Pantling lays down his small blind. Fleischman calls with queen 10. 3 players will see the flop. Levi ahead right now with his ace queen. The flop is trade queen 6. Fleischman with top pair but an inferior kicker. Levi with top pair and top kicker. Lee picked up a flush draw.
Levi says he feels naked if he doesn't have any chips in his hand. There he goes.
Thank goodness he has chips in his hand. After Fleischman checked, Levi bets 39,000. And Lee, who caught part of that flop.
It's possible Lee is doing some math in his head, but I wish he'd bring a calculator to kind of speed it up. I've got a bucket list I'm never going to get to because of this guy.
All right, Lee finally makes the call for 39,000.
Thank you.
Fleischman makes a quick call.
He's trying to get on my good side.
All 3 to the turn. 4 of diamonds. Fleischman now drawing very thin. Levi with the best of it. Fleischman checked again. And now Nicholas Levi, French poker pro, bets 140,000. And now to Ronald Lee.
He's not supposed to call here, Lon. He's not getting the right price to chase his flush. I am transmitting this very thought to him right now through Jitterglidian microwaves.
Ronald Lee with the flush draw.
Fold.
He does fold.
Oh, thank you again.
So now to Fleischmann.
I don't deal with Fleischmann. He's got to fold on his own.
Fleischmann with one last look at the cards. Yes, he does lay it down. And Levi will take that pot.
Fold, fold. That was relatively painless and bloodless. All uncontested pots on the turn should be that painless and bloodless.
So the 27-year-old from Paris, Nicholas Levi, now over 800,000 chips. Back upstairs where Clint Coffey just re-raised all in with ace-jack for 262,000. That's after Roland DeWolf open-raised with aces. Action on Barney Boatman now. He has ace-king. Boatman's all in. And DeWolf can't believe it. He makes the call with aces, and he's poised for a double knockout.
I knew it. I felt that smell. I knew I did.
DeWolf, in fact, an overwhelming favorite here to score that double knockout against his fellow countryman and the young American.
Roland DeWolf looking for a million-chip pot here. The flop, king 4-10. DeWolf ahead, but can't relax. Coffey with a Broadway draw. Boatman with a pair of kings. Turn card is a 9. No help to the all-in duo.
Coffey needs a queen or he's gone. Boatman needs a king or he's gone. Roland DeWolf going for the 2-for-1 knockout.
The river card is an 8, and that means Roland DeWolf's aces will hold up and eliminate 2 opponents.
DeWolf knows how to clear a room.
So Barney Boatman gone in 13th place. Clint Coffey eliminated in 14th place. Roland DeWolf scores the entire pot of over 1.1 million chips. He can hardly believe his good fortune. He's well armed to secure a seat at the final table. Welcome back to the World Series of Poker Europe main event. After that stunning double knockout, everyone closer to the bracelet. In 2008 and 2009, the November 9 was well represented in London. 3 players made both final tables. This year, 8 of Las Vegas's final 9 traveled across the Atlantic, but none made the money. Joseph Chung busted on day 1, and despite high hopes, so did main event champion Jonathan Duhamel.
It's a fun atmosphere. I like being here. But for now, I mean, my focus is just about playing poker, playing my best poker like I've never played before, hoping to be chip leader at the end of the day.
Perhaps with targets on their backs, this year's November Niners could not replicate the success of years past, and they left empty-handed.
Nice playing with you guys. Nice playing with you.
For Michael the Grinder Mizrachi, a rough hand sent him home early.
I took a pretty bad beat. I got 2 outers, but I can't complain because I had a great World Series in Las Vegas. But Europe is not as good to me, so hopefully next year I'll come back and redeem myself and I'll win the main event.
Certainly a banner year for Mizrachi, but the biggest success story was Jonathan Duhamel, the 2010 main event champ who won $8.9 million. All right, back to action at this Europe main event. Upstairs, Arnaud Materne at risk once again, all in with King 10 of diamonds. He was called by Brian Powell, who was moved upstairs to balance the tables. Powell leads with King Jack.
Materne won an EPT title in Prague in 2007 worth $1 million, trying to survive another all-in here.
He's been a tough knockout. Once down to 13,000, he fought back, but now is in bad shape and at risk. All right, here's the flop. 5, 7, 8, no 10, no diamond. Materne in deep trouble.
Materne 23rd at the 09 Europe main event. Already has done better this time around.
Turn card 5 of diamonds. Materne still looking for a lifeline.
Materne needs a 7, 8, or 10 to stick around.
River card is a 4 of clubs. That will be the last card Arnaud Materne sees at this tournament. Eliminated in 12th place. Materne wins over 54,000 pounds. So just 2 more eliminations to go before we have our final table. 6-handed at this featured table. 5-handed upstairs. Nicholas Levi with pocket 10s.
Like Fabrizio Baldassari, Nicholas Levi has worked as a poker TV analyst. You know, Lon, it's not as easy as it looks. I'm in makeup at least 3 hours a day.
Even when you're not working. A raise to 39,000. Over to Andrew Pantling, 27-year-old Canadian pro.
The married man with a big hand.
He was runner-up to Phil Locke when Locke won his first bracelet here in London. With pocket queens, Pantling's going to re-raise to 103,000. Folded over to Steinberg now with a couple of 6s.
Not a good time for pocket sixes. And there's been a raise and re-raise in front of him.
Steinberg in the small blind now puts the shades on. I guess he's going to do something.
Yeah, I don't think you put your shades on to fold. I know I put my sunglasses on when I'm getting dressed.
Not blinders?
Good for you. Well, Steinberg might be thinking if he 4-bets it, Levi will fold and the shorter stack Pantling will want to wait for a better spot to gamble, but Pantling has a big hand.
I'm all in.
All in? Steinberg re-raises to $644,000.
And now to Levi, who, remember, raised under the gun. He's got to figure if there are 2 re-raises behind him, somebody's got a really big hand.
And he folds his 2 black 10s to Pantling now. He needs all his chips to call.
I have to call. I call.
And he does indeed to put himself at risk with the queens.
I was bluffing. So.
Steinberg got caught.
I had 2 10s. You saved me.
Pantling looking for a big double up.
Steinberg's ploy might have worked if Pantling has anything less. As it is, Pantling poised to really get a lot of chips.
Andrew Pantling with the queens against the 6s of Danny Steinberg.
Give me the devil.
And here's the flop, and there's a 6 to put a dagger in Pantling's survival hopes. Steinberg with the set.
Cards are already shuffled. Y'all had a queen.
I think I'll look like an idiot if I close my eyes. I am, well...
Turn card's a king. That gives Steinberg a boat.
A king would be all right.
But Pantling gets a couple of more outs.
Pantling now needs a king or a queen, or Danny Steinberg knocks him out.
The river card is a 7, and Steinberg scores a big knockout. Andrew Pantling will make his exit in 11th place, winning over £54,000.
Man, I totally misread you. I thought you were going to fold.
Oh, no worries. Hey, I mean,
I know.
Pantling had a great World Series of Poker here in Europe, 2nd in the 6-handed event, 11th here in the main event. And Danny Steinberg gets us to 10-handed. 1 more to go before we have our final table. You're watching the World Series of Poker Europe main event. With the field finally narrowed to 10 players, everyone at one table. Taking a look at the chip count, Dan Fleischman leads the way with $1,700,000. Roland DeWolf has made a late charge, now sits in 3rd. Mark Inazan is the short stack.
10 players left. We have 5 American, 2 Brits, 2 Frenchmen, and 1 Italian.
Not only the prestige on the line of making this final table, there's a pay bump from 10th to 9th of almost $25,000.
It's a good-looking group, Lon, and I think everyone has his own hair.
I love the dynamics of this part of the tournament. Norman, 10-handed. Some players try to abuse the short stacks on the final table bubble. Others try to sneak quietly into the final 9. You never know. Ace-10 of clubs for Danny Steinberg.
Born in Washington, D.C., my hometown, but now lives in Fairfield, Iowa, which is spiritually
42.
quite removed from the nation's capital.
He has almost 1.3 million chips, and he puts 42,000 of them to work with a raise.
A lot of farmland in Iowa, a better environment to play online or read Atlas Shrugged.
Over to Ronald Lee, the 2nd biggest stack right now, with King 9 off.
He's a Brooklyn kid. In Brooklyn, you can do anything you want. Read, write, take an hour to act on your hand.
Usually they act a little quicker in New York. Ronald Lee facing a raise from Steinberg, re-raises to $110,000.
From the cutoff, he 3-bets with garbage.
So folded back around to Steinberg with his suited ace-10.
Danny Steinberg does not like backing down.
Steinberg, like Lee, takes a lot of time to make his decision. Working with his chip stack. And Steinberg looks like he's going to make a raise. He does to $262,000.
Ronald Lee has been out-muscled here, I believe, unless he believes a 5-bet can push Steinberg out of the hand. 2 of the top 5 stacks left here, and Lee has Steinberg covered.
So Lee, with just king high, he was trying to steal the chips in the pot. Then Steinberg came back over the top. Lee does fold, and Steinberg's aggression and good read gets him the pot.
The 24-year-old yields to the 22-year-old.
So a gutsy 4-bet from Steinberg pays off there, 10-handed. Danny showing the table his trademark aggression that has gotten him noticed in the poker world.
whenever you can make it this far in a tournament, you have to be pleased because it takes luck.